So hello good people of the internet, it is I, Tommy Kelly, and this is, of course, Adventures in Woo. So in this episode we have a number of things. The main kind of section of it is a divination session that I did the other day with the 47s. I asked people on Facebook and patrons to give me some questions that I would divine using the 47 system. So we got through an awful lot of questions, some quicker than others. We're kind of doing one card reading and it's limited in its sense in that, but it came out well and something I might do more of in the future. And there's also a bit of a talk about it, or an update about my Black Magic month or my Selfish Magic month and some of the developments and revelations that have been coming out of doing that, which I found particularly interesting. And then, of course, if you're a patron, at the end of the show, there's an extended extra 25 minutes, half an hour sort of thing where we are talking about Liber Null by Peter Carroll, which is a Chaos Magic book that came out in 1977 or so. And we're just going through it very slowly, chapter by chapter. We're about 50 pages into it, probably a bit more now. But there's only 104 pages in the entire book, so we're halfway there, and it's pretty good. It's going well. So if that's something you think you'd be into, then check out my Patreon, link in the description if you aren't already a patron. If you would like to support me in other ways, you can by liking and sharing this video. It really helps whether you're watching it on Facebook or on YouTube. Please like and share and annoy your friends with it as well. There's a support page on adventuresinwooby.com that you can also check out if there's other ways that you would like to help me out. So let's get into this proper and get the show going. So my Black Magic month has kind of kicked off with a very interesting development. And the whole idea of the Black Magic month was that I was going to spend an entire month just doing selfish magic, doing stuff just for myself without feeling or without worrying about the ramifications, what it would be for other people or for life in general. Just doing the things that I wanted without the fear of guilt or feeling like a bad person for wanting stuff, for feeling selfish. Very first thing, almost immediately when I got into this mindset of thinking that way, was that my non-meat eating thing became questioned immediately. Just as thoughts kept coming into my head straight away, you'd want to look at that. There's something that you want to look at that way. I thought that was very odd because I've been not eating meat since about 15, so 26 odd years or something like that. Is that right? 26? That seems like an awful long time. I'm so old. I don't feel old, incidentally. That's just a thing you have to say when you mention your age and you're over 20. And it's something that I've talked about before in that, you can have something that as a discipline that can end up being a taboo and it becomes almost a thing that you can't break because you've done it for so long, and vegetarian is like that. And I don't like the word vegetarian, and I try as much as possible not to use it because it's just, to me, it sounds so pretentious. And it's kind of almost like I feel embarrassed by saying it, and I'm not quite sure about that. It's like because I think it's because I'm overcompensating for the fact that you come across so many vegetarians or whatever label who within 5 minutes of meeting them are telling you how great they are because they are a vegetarian or they don't eat meat and stuff like that. And that really turns me off, and I really dislike that. The other reason is kind of because you're saying a vegetarian. That you don't eat or you don't cause harm or whatever it is, but like there's so many animals are still being killed in the production of vegetarian food, like all the animals that are in the fields when the grain is or the crops are sowed, and like the big machinery get in there, they're like killing loads of animals. There's probably a whole host of different things that involve animals and the death of animals and the cruelty to animals that ends up with having, your Linda McCartney sausage on your plate or whatever it is. Also, all that stuff like the vegetarian food. I was vegan for a while and I just found I was eating just way more processed food than I was being a vegetarian, and it just didn't suit me anyway. So I don't like the labels, I don't like the whole thing, but that's totally kind of tangential to the idea was that this thought immediately came into my head that if you were being selfish, then you'd want to look at this meat eating thing or lack of meat eating because there's probably something that you're missing out on. Kind of an interesting thought, and almost immediately and extremely strong. And I started getting noticing I was watching videos or being recommended videos on YouTube about vegans who had turned into carnivores, whatever, and people like Vegetable Police or Bobby's Perspective and that kind of thing. And I was enjoying them and kind of seeing the benefits, or seeing what they were saying and all that about it. So there was an attraction to a point that it kind of got a bit like I started craving the idea of eating meat, which is so weird for me because I don't at all. It's just not something that I think about that much. It's just like I've kind of blocked it out in my mind. It's just something I do and I don't think about it anymore. And it was like they were talking about the different things, like how it cured their depression and how it Vegetable Police is not particularly Bobby's Perspective, or they felt better emotionally. I was kind of thinking, well, my kind of onset of depression, or when I first remember being properly, the thing coming in, was around the time that I give up meat. But correlation does not equal causation. It was also the time I was going through an awful lot of hard times in my family. My parents were getting divorced or separating, and there was loads of things. So it's a lot was going on at the time, and you could as equally make a case that I was a teenager, I gave up meat, or my family was falling apart, or you were becoming an adult, and all of those things. So it's like, again, correlation is not equal causation. But if it turned out like that, the reason for an awful lot of my darkness and the black dog visits was because I hadn't eaten meat or whatever, I go, in one way I'd be kind of a bit pissed off, and in another way I'd be going, well, at least I know. But then you can read any amount of reports you want, or watch any amount of YouTube channels that will say giving up meat will cause you lower in stress and anxiety because of the number of reasons. Because the adrenaline in the meat from the animal being killed, or the general, the eating meat makes you feel more aggressive. All of these things. So that's the worst thing about modern society and the influx of all of this kind of information, ready information, is that there's all the opposing sides have equal footing, and you never know what's right and what's wrong, other than coming from the Chaos Magic point of view of try it and see what happens. Now, this isn't all the build up to go that I went out and had a steak. I certainly didn't. But I did break the thing. What I was getting into, mostly listening to Bobby's Perspective, was about the whole idea of the vitamins that you're missing in a vegan diet and in some way a vegetarian diet. And that a lot of it's in fish and stuff like that. So I didn't eat fish either, but what I got was one of those fish oils, the omega-3 with the DPA and that other one, EPA, whatever it is, all that kind of thing. And I'm going to try that for a month and see if it has any impact whatsoever. So far it's about, whatever it is, less than a week or whatever. I haven't noticed anything different. But with all of these things, I'm never sure what I'm exactly looking for. The only thing I've ever taken in my entire life that I knew had dramatically changed my mood, my mindset, all of those things, was antidepressants, which made me suicidal. So I stopped them. And then 5-HTP, which would in like a day had bumped my baseline of what is acceptable as, a default kind of setting up from darkness into normality. But all the other things I've tried over the years, the different kind of like CBD oils, or I don't know, any number of different things, I never felt any kind of change or anything, or any health benefits from it. So interesting. I will follow along with this with the oil, the fish oil, cod liver oil, fish oils, with that kind of thing. And I know I could have got a krill oil that would have had the omega-3s and all that. But it's the whole idea is that of why I did the fish oil is that if it's an actual something that you can only get from an animal product, and being that it had come up with my selfish black magic month, that rather than trying to replace it with a vegetarian or vegan facsimile of it, go to the actual thing and see if there is something in it, test it out, have a look at the hypothesis, have a look at these hunches, at your intuitions, and test them and see what happens. And it also has a massively brilliant side effect of breaking the taboo and challenging myself in that way. Ultimately, it was quite easy to do because I've in the mindset of this selfish black magician who's going to be evil for a month. But yeah, that's interesting. So I just thought I would let you know about that and what's going on that way. I thought it was an interesting development. So welcome to the preschool. This isn't our normal space where we walk in, but it's the room that's empty at the moment and it's the quietest, which is strange because mostly this is the noisiest room in the house. But yesterday I put out the call on Facebook and Patreon and social medias for questions. I probably shouldn't shuffle them so close to my mic. For questions to do some quick divinations using the 47s. Last week we did some divinations doing bibliomancy and people seemed to really enjoy it. So why not do some divinations using the actual system that you created rather than a random one? So so what I'm going to do is go through some of the questions now. There's a lot of questions and patrons obviously get first preference on it. I'm not going to answer all the questions that I got on Facebook because there was so many. Some of them were a bit too, I don't want people to make a decision based on a quick divination of some random dude on the internet. So if it seemed fairly serious, I'm just not going to touch this. And also if I didn't think the question was geared specifically, I would be, served well by one card answer, then I also skipped it. And some of them I just skipped because they were repeated ones that literally some people had copy pasted from previous questions, and some I just won't get time to. So we'll get straight into this. First of all, I will do my shuffling. I always like to do a pre-reading for myself to make sure that I'm in a good frame of mind or it's a good time to be doing this. So, can't get much better than that as a sign. So let's get into this. The first question is from Dougie. Hi Tommy, here's my question. Am I missing something when trying to get a new job? It's proving frustrating. Or is it timing and I need to be more patient? So, that's quite a specific answer you're looking for. So all of these are going to be more general, and again with the caveat of think of divination always, I would suggest, as just another viewpoint, another opinion, not a qualified answer, not something that you should bet the house on, or any of those kind of things. Just like listening to advice from a friend, a good friend, someone who has good advice, but even the best advice or the best friend isn't infallible, doesn't know everything, and it can only base things on how you are at that situation, and instantly knowing the answer already changes the future. All of those things that we know about divination. Anyway, let's get into this. So Dougie's question, am I missing something when trying to get a new job, or is it timing and I need to be more patient? Death, the dead. So the dead is very much about your history, your connection to your family, to your past, your resume. Your history, your past, the thing that the dead is representing, and this thing is your resume. That has to be looked at. Get that in order, get that a bit better. There's something in that you're overlooking that can be polished, can be made better. There you go. Daniel Lockwood wants to know, will I travel out of Europe this year? Yes, no answers aren't probably best for card systems, but we'll try. If it's a positive card, it'll be yes. If it's a negative card, we're going to go with no. Simple as that. Answer is yes, Daniel. Nicholas Gaba. What is the nature of my relation with cards, oracle and tarot cards? So, the adventurer. So, it's an adventure. It's something that you're traveling into, that you're looking for new, vast open areas, or new areas in your life, new things. It's a portal to getting outside your comfort zones, or going past your boundaries and all of those things. So think of your cards and all of that kind of stuff, the oracles and tarots, as an adventure, and enjoy it as such. Christopher Moore, how can I magically assist my efforts to deal with my depression? Depression's a tough one. The old black dog is relentless. Cleaning your room, it's a great one. It certainly will not cure your depression, but it helps. Trust me. The black dog is is, I was going to say a welcome visitor. He's certainly not a welcome visitor. A frequent visitor to my door. The idea. You need to come up with some new ideas about tackling it, about life. You need a new, fresh approach to things. Not stuff that you've tried before, not augmenting old ideas, just completely new ideas. Be open up to completely new ideas, stuff that you haven't considered before, and that now is the time. Mightn't have worked in the past, you might have dismissed it in the past, but now is the time for it. I really hope that the shuffling isn't super loud on the mic, but if it is, it is. Max Rinzal, I have just finished my presentation ritual to the 40 servants, but I don't feel the same connection with the devils. What is missing? Well, shock horror, neither do I. So there's that. I definitely feel more kinship with the 40 servants than I do with the 4 devils. You know, that's not to take anything away from the 4 devils, that's just the way it is. The mother. So approach it like you would a parent. Approach the 4 devils more in a parental sense, that love them, cherish them, nourish them, feed them, be kind to them, bring them up, get to know them, and manifest them into the world in your image. There you go, Max. Stefan D, is this current new job opportunity a good way for me to go? Yes, the sun, all energy, power, all of those things. All signs point to yes. Ariana Bluey, I think that's how it's pronounced. Again, I will butcher your names and I will be unapologetic, but I'll be apologetic about it in an unapologetic way. Is my current job a good 3-year path for me? Silence, retreat, letting go of things, making things simple, slowing down, looking for inner peace, retreat from the world, retreat from all those things. That's what this card is suggesting to you. I don't know what your job is or your path could be, but this should be relevant to you. Is that what you're going to get from it? Are you going to get a lot of stress? Because this is a concern for you. Fauzi, is the current business I'm doing a good one for me to have financial freedom? Lots of business ones and money ones and that kind of thing. Lots of questions about, will I be rich this time next year and all that, which is all fine. Baby steps though, you know, don't go for the big things, break them down into chunks. And chant for that, much better than trying to go for the large things. Because the large things are harder to manifest. Smaller chunks are easier to do and then they build up to the bigger things. But aim for the moon at the same time, you know, that's not an excuse to not try these things. Right, Fauzi, is the current business I'm doing a good one for me to have financial freedom? The dead again. So look to your past. Are you making the same mistakes, or is there something that is relevant in your path up to here? Is it a family business? Is there something like that that could be relevant to this kind of thing? Think of your lineage, think of your history, think of the sum of human knowledge up to this point in regard to your job. It's unsure on that one. I probably need to know more about the whole thing. So that's all the Patreons. So now we'll go through some of the other ones. Roderick McKinnon, should I stay in my career path? And then he hopes he can catch the show. Should you? The Messenger. There's a message, there's something that you're not listening to, you're not heeding. There's some area or advice or something that you are not getting, or you're either deliberately not listening to or not receiving because of some other thing. So there's some important information with regard to your current career path that you need to have a look into and see if you're either not seeing the wood for the trees or deliberately not seeing it, or whether you just aren't aware of certain information. Hugh Hackett, will a lawsuit we filed over a car accident pay out this spring? Yes or no ones again, so we'll see. The Father. So sometimes in life you have to go through things to become a better person or to grow as a person. And these things are usually hard things like deaths, births, loves, broken hearts, all of that type of stuff. So there seems to be some element of you still have things to go through, life things that you have to get over first but ultimately you'll be better for it. So no is the answer, I would say, on that, but for a good reason, not because it's bad luck. Jennifer Williams wants to know, should I marry my love interest? The father yet again. Interesting. You need more life experience, possibly. You need to go through a bit more in your life and have a few more life lessons learned or life experience, and you have a lot more living to do before, in a sense, you would be thinking about settling down or, that sort of thing. Mike Bacon, should I continue to try and monetize my free time by looking for a part-time job? The fixer. The fixer is that anything is possible to do as long as you're willing to pay the price. So, is the price worth it? Is this what you want to do? If it's not what you want to do, find out what you want to do and pursue that. That's what I would suggest. Beth Wells, what is blocking my recovery health-wise, and how do I unblock it? Okay. Dance. The dancer. So the dancer is all about, sometimes life is shit, a lot of times life just doesn't go the way we want, and it's to try and reconcile that and come to terms with it, and with the whole thing of when it rains, dance in the rain, rather than just feel bad about everything getting wet. So go with it in a sense. Don't resist it. Understand that it's like an initiation of sorts. It's something you just have to go through, and the more you resist it, possibly the more you're prolonging it. Not the whole learn to love your sickness bullshit, but go easy on yourself and know that it's just something you're going through. Don't be so hard on yourself. Try as much as possible to go with it, not resist it, and all of those things. George Soulier. George, am I pronouncing your name right? Please let me know in the comments below. What do I need to gain more focus? Brain food. All of those things. Meditation. Let's see what the cards say. The Saint. So, the Saint is all about like hiring an expert or an intermediary, someone going in your name or doing something on your behalf. You need someone to show you how to do something, or to do something, rather than trying to do something at all yourself. You need to hire some sort of expert, not necessarily hire, but consult an expert. Go with someone whose job it is to help, to sort this kind of stuff out. So maybe something like a meditation teacher, go to actual classes, go to the expert involved in the focusing, or whatever your lack of focus is. Not sure how developed that idea came out of my head, but there's something there possibly for you. Theo Ogletree, how can I improve and deepen my romantic relationship, or is it just stuck? Okay, the Monk again. The Monk suggests making things more simple, getting rid of the clutter, making life as calm and almost not hermit-like, but keeping it away from the worries of the world and the drama of the world and things. So try to reduce the drama, try to keep things as simple as possible, go back to the basics. Why you attracted to this person in the first place? What was it that at the beginning that made all of this kind of work? Try and keep it as simple as possible. Don't overthink it. And that seems to be the key. Tiffany Valentina, what is the karmic lesson that I need to learn from the last 13 months of chaos in my life? Oh, I'm sorry you had 13 months of chaos. That sounds like chaos. The Lovers. So something to do around your love life or a deep friendship that is akin to a love life. And love, the Lovers is a non-sexual element of, it's like the romance element of it, or the partnership or the companionship element of a loving relationship, rather than any kind of physical or sex thing. It's the morning after the sex. It's the moment after the ejaculation rather than the ejaculation itself, or the orgasm, or whatever it is. So the 13 months of chaos, is it around either a romantic kind of friendship, a marriage, those type of things, or is it trying to be okay in those type of things, or seeing it, trying to get to the next level of those things? It's something, the karmic thing is something around the moment after the passion, and trying to then make a life when not necessarily the passion, but the honeymoon period of whatever it is over, and now you just have to get on with it and make it. So like the polish or the sheen or the sparkle is gone, but that doesn't mean it's all shit. It just means that, you know, now you have to do it, now you have to work on it. Now it's not just, you're not just caught up in the emotion of it all, and that's kind of what it's suggesting. Terry Eldridge, what do I need most at this time? The gatekeeper, so you need some new opportunities, you need things unlocked, you need access to places that you haven't been before. You need to get in somewhere that has been previously blocked by you. So like if you have always been wanting to join a particular social club and you've never been allowed in, what you need most is to get into that, or something that you've been holding yourself back from, say, you need to open the door to something new, get into some new areas. Grim Killingbeck, cool name. Is it possible for me to revamp my site and have as a second stream of income? Well, everything is possible. Protection, the protector, so possibly not. You need to protect yourself from that, or just be wary around that idea. That's all. That's the thing I could say. I don't want to put you off the idea, so I won't say too much, but there's some kind of need for protection around that idea that you have to consider. Like if had you previous business partners or people connected to it, that might come back to bite you a bit in the end. Something like, not necessarily that, but something like that. Just have a look at protection around that issue. Wendy Ligando. I know, Wendy, I always get your name wrong, but what can I do? Should I focus on part A, B, or C? How will we do this with one card? This is part A, this is part B, and this is part C. Part C it is, although part B will be the most practical for you. Part A will cause you the most hardship. And C is the one where you'll find your most power. Elena Nunez, am I on the right path? You're exploring new ground. You are pushing out your boundaries. So yes, absolutely, this is good. It's always exploring new things is always good. Kim Sampim, how can I recognize my mind to attract more abundance? How can I organize my mind? Excuse me. So, the planet. Have a look at what beliefs you have. Have a look at what you have in your gravitational field. There's some belief you have that is restricting you, that is in some way holding you back. So you have to look at that. That's like the standard New Age law of attraction answer to how do I get abundance. But that's literally the answer in this case. And I mean, it's probably always the answer. Something in your subconscious has decided it doesn't want to be abundant. Usually because it feels that being abundant will cause more pain than not being abundant. Darcy Bittencourt, am I on the right path when it comes to occult studies? Propaganda, media, stories. You could be falling for the stories too much rather than the practice or the promise. There's this thing of deceit and lies within that, but it's more the bending of the truth rather than the actual. Are you falling for blinds? My advice to you is only do stuff and work it out for yourself and find what works for you rather than relying on what other people say or promise you and that kind of stuff. Try and weave your own path, do your own experiments, and don't just believe what anyone says, whether it be occult, magic, or whatever, unless it's provable to yourself. Lewis Spangler, what question should I be asking myself that I am not? What new ideas do you have? You need to come up with some new ideas. What is fresh? Where's your creativity? Where's your art? What are you doing? How are you expressing yourself? Why are you reneging on your creative abilities? John Falter, what do I need to know about the apartment I just moved into? It's haunted, John, it's haunted. Get out of it. Only kidding. Probably is haunted though. Be careful. What do you need to know? The seer. Gut instincts, clairvoyance, having having a feeling about something. That whatever you're feeling about it, whatever your gut reaction to this apartment is the right reaction. So if you have a good feeling about it, then it's good. If you have a bad feeling about it, don't ignore it because you were right. Tim Carrasco. Tim, please tell me how to pronounce your name. Will I get this novel written? You will, if you put the work in. So the question should be, will I put the work in to get my novel written? But we'll ask the question you asked him. Yes, if you make things simple, if you take time for yourself, if you get away from all the worries of the world, if you set aside some time to actually work where you're not distracted, and you take it simple steps. Simplicity is key. No distractions, silence, solitude. Katrina Palin. We're running out of time. What is my biggest block that I'm yet to conquer? So this is going to be the last one because we're running out of time here. So, sorry Katrina, I rushed over your question. What's my biggest block that I'm yet to conquer? The fixer. Not being willing to do what it takes to get the things you want. Simple as that. That's your biggest block. That just literally not being willing to do what you need to do because you either find it distasteful or you don't want to be the type of person who would do that. But that's the reason why you're not getting where you want to be, because sometimes you have to be a bit, not necessarily ruthless, but tough. And that's the reason, because you probably want to be a good person and you have equated these type of things with being a bad person. So, sorry if I didn't get to your question, but we got through a lot of questions there, and it's something we'll do again. I'm going to try and do a different divination thing every week and see how that goes on. I know it can be quite boring though for people who aren't, whose questions aren't in it, so I don't want it. Maybe it's not something I'll do every week. I'll have to see about that. But I know people, when they get on it and their questions are in it, everyone's happy. But if you're just sitting there going, I don't care about these people or their questions, there's that. So 47s, check them out. You can find out about 47s and you can get all of the resources for free at adventuresandmovie.com. Just saying, you can check it out. So I thought some of you might find this a bit interesting. I certainly did. I came across some photos of myself in my much younger days. One when I was on my 18th birthday, and one when I was about 22 and I wanted to be a rock star. So this is my 18th birthday one. And as you can see, it's a very fancy haircut I have there, looking well, and yeah, that is what it is. That's what I looked like when I was 18. Young, naive, not knowing what I wanted out of life. Well, thinking I wanted to be a rock star. And yeah, so much ahead of him. And so now this is me when I'm about 22, I would say. 22, 23. It was taken as a photo to promote an album I recorded called Eclectic. And I was trying to be... not weird, but I was trying to look a bit different than the usual singer-songwriter things, a bit more kind of, in a sense, punky or alternative or something, trying to be cool. And come out of, I kind of like that photo. There's something quite nice about it. I'm glad I have them. And as you can see, I obviously used one as for something, as it's gone missing out of the 14. So anyway, yeah, just thought it was cool, and I thought I'd show you. So that was another episode of Adventures in Woo Woo. If you like that sort of thing, then there's 6 other episodes that are up on YouTube or on the website that you can check out. There's also about 80 episodes of the previous podcast, most of which are just audio though. But if you want to find all of those things, or the 40 Servants, or any of the other stuff I do, then you can just go to adventuresandwoowoo.com and you will find all of the links to all of the things, including social medias, support pages, free resources, anything really. The links to Discord. In fact, all the links that you probably need are in the show description as well. So they're just links all over the place. So you can't but not see the links. But having said that, people always say to me, how did I not know you had a webpage, etc. Or how did I not know you had a YouTube channel, etc. So, I don't know. Do my best. So, good people of the internet, until next week, have a wonderful week. And may your dog not interrupt you looking to go for a pee when you were recording the outro to your podcast. Be well.